and thought this was a good opportunity here because as I was putting this together, I was looking at this and I was like, man, this is such a small turbo. I don't think many people have seen a turbo this small before. This is I'm building this for an upcoming project, and I just thought I would do a quick live stream on assembling this to show people basically how simple turbos are. A lot of people don't realize it unless they've opened them up and looked at them. And this goes the same for those jet engines I use a lot on Warped Perception. Those are simple jet engines, very similar to this. The only difference is this is a radial turbine, and in those jet engines, it's an axial turbine, so it looks more like a fan. But yeah, I'm just gonna stay quiet, throw this thing together. If you have any questions, I'm gonna open up the chat here. Just make sure I can see everybody's messages, and I'll try to answer your questions. Just gonna put this together, and I did throw this on my balancer, make sure this was balanced, and I made. Some people were asking me in a previous video, like how I line the wheels up, and it's really simple. You just, when you balance it, you just make a mark on the compressor wheel. Yeah, centrifugal. Yep, or centrifugal, like some people say. And then I make a mark on the back on the turbine wheel, mark on the compressor wheel, and a lot of times with the jet engines, I'll actually make a mark on the shaft. I don't know what the RPM is of this turbo, but it's got to be pretty high. So I'm just going to put this together and yeah, see how it goes. And I'm going to have a little bit of a delay because there's going to be a part in the video where it's going to take about 3-4 minutes to heat this up. So this is what they call a fitted compressor wheel. And what that means is it basically doesn't fit on the shaft unless you heat the compressor wheel up. So what you do is you heat this up, and once you get it to about 400, 450 degrees, this actually just slides right on, and then you have to line up your marks and tighten up that nut, snug it up so it's all the way flush against that shaft, and that's how you assemble it. And a lot of guys, I've seen guys completely destroy these compressor wheels on turbos because they take them apart because they think maybe, and there are seals back here, I'll show that to you right now. But basically, if it starts leaking oil, there's like a seal here, and in the bigger turbos, it's even a more substantial seal. And they think if they remove the compressor wheel, then they'll be able to get to that seal, and they completely destroy it because they can't get it off. So I'm just going to put this all together now. And right inside here is this like heat shield plate. Uh-oh, I just dropped something. Uh-oh, that was my bearing. Where is my bearing? Oh, there we go. All right, found my bearing. I wish I could use a different camera. Yeah, I wish I could use a different camera on this. For some reason on the Samsung, like the S21, you could only use a really wide camera, which really sucks. So this turbo is from Kohler. This is, I'm using this on an upcoming Kohler diesel that I'm building for a second version of the cordless Tesla. So I finished the first video, which I'm not going to spoil it, but it was nuts. It's painful 6 days of traveling in that car because I had to wait for it to charge in between, but my range was pretty ridiculous. And yeah, so this is the turbo for the next cordless Tesla project, which is going to be a Kohler diesel. That's all I'm going to tell you because I don't want to spoil it. And so you can see here, there's sort of like a little, looks like a little piston ring. It's sort of an oil seal. Normally, I believe that little gap goes down toward the bottom of the turbo, toward the drain. But I'm not 100% sure. That's just the way I do it. This is the bearing here. Next live stream I do, I think I'm going to use an older phone because it kind of sucks that I can't use the other lens. See if I could zoom in. I could zoom in, but quality sucks because it's that real wide angle lens. Just gonna look at my options here. Nope. Can't choose a different lens. That blows. All right, anyway, I'm just gonna put this together. This is a sleeve bearing turbo, not a ball bearing turbo. Ball bearing turbo has ceramic ball bearings. And this one has the holes, so basically the oil feed comes from the top. Hopefully you can see that. Thanks, William. I appreciate that. So basically those holes is where the oil pressure comes through, creates sort of film in between the shaft right here, the shaft and the bearing, just like that. So in a perfect world, the shaft really wouldn't ever touch the bushing because there would be oil pressure in between. Well, I'm going to stop talking and get this thing assembled. There's like a little groove that actually can't see it because the camera sucks, but it's a little groove right there that goes toward the outside, just like that. Forgot to put that ring downward. There's the drain. What's up, Jimmy? All right, there we go. It's in there. And I mean, just look at how small that is. I don't have a, oh yeah, I do have a, I got a caliper here. I'm going to show you real quick what size this turbine wheel is. 20, about 26 millimeters. About 27 millimeters. And the compressor, 36 millimeters. If we measure the intake opening, it would be about 24 millimeters. Yeah, tiny. And there's a couple other turbos out there. Actually, I think there's one turbo that's it's like a RZ21 or RB21 or something, and it's 21 millimeters, but it's more like a paddle wheel. So if you look at this, it's a Borg Warner. You can see that there's a lot of turbo geometry that went into this, a lot of engineering just by the way the blades are angled and what it does to the air molecules when it compresses. And those other turbos that I'm telling you, they're I call them paddle wheels because this turbo, even though it's bigger, makes a ton more boost than those turbos. They're just very inefficient. I don't know if they copied some really old design. They're only like $100. This is like $500. But yeah, I'm gonna stay quiet and just assemble this real quick so I don't mess it up. I gotta heat up this wheel now. Yeah, I don't know. Good question. I don't know how much horsepower I made because in the previous video I couldn't get it to spool. I had to run nitro. Actually, I think that was the paddle wheel turbo. But I don't know. I guess I'll find out. I'm hoping to make a good 30, 32 horsepower in the turbo diesel. I really wish this thing would zoom in so you don't have to see all this ugly mess. I'm going to just show you the parts. So there goes the heat gun. I would have much rather put this in the oven because this takes forever. And you can't use a flame. If you ever take apart a turbo like this, you shouldn't use a flame because you'll heat up those little edges on the compressor wheel and pretty much damage the compressor wheel. But I'm going to heat it up from the back. Thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, I honestly don't have too much to say to that. That's why I just always say thanks to everybody because sort of I've just been doing all this stuff since I was a kid. And when my friends ask me like how I can do it, I just tell them I got lucky. What's going on, 12 Stones? It's going pretty good, pretty slow over the last 3 weeks or a month because I jumped on this cordless Tesla project and had to do that road trip. because the car was broken down for a whole year. Had nothing but one breakdown after another. So as soon as I got the rear drive unit fixed, when I got a new rear drive unit about a month, maybe 5 weeks ago, as soon as I put that in, redeployed the car and basically jumped on that cordless Tesla video right away, because that thing was already a year behind. It was crazy. That's the only reason I got that Tesla, by the way, was to do my series with the cordless Tesla. And it was pretty insane. It was really a weird feeling to drive that car long distance without having to charge it. Yeah, it was just one thing after another. It just broke down over and over. Engine fixer guy. It might be hot enough. I put it a little bit hotter than I normally would. 1050. No, I'm heating up the compressor wheel so I can assemble it onto the shaft, because these are fitted wheels. I think that's good enough. I'm going to try it. No, I just got to get a glove. Try it now. Let's see. So there's our mark right there. So I'm just going to point that up toward the high pressure side of things, right about there. And I'm going to try to slide this on. Ooh, yeah, it's hot. Oh, there we go. See? And it's still it's pretty snug. Actually, I might have to heat it up more. Just line my mark up there. Oh man, it's snug. It is snug. Ah, I gotta heat it up more. Darn it. Now I'm gonna have to try to get it off without the thing flying. Wrong hand. Holy cow. Heat it up a little bit more. Wasn't quite hot enough. Yeah, I don't like that that lens is stuck on the real wide view. I like things tight. I know it's boring. Wish I could have just put this in the oven. Probably what I should have done. But to be realistic, this is the way I would normally do it to take it off, because you have to heat up just the compressor wheel and not the whole shaft. Because if you heat up the compressor wheel and the shaft, then you have to heat everything up really, really hot. Because steel and aluminum have different expansion rates. But if you just get the compressor wheel, it only takes a few minutes and you can slide it right off. A lot of the jet engines are like that too. They have fitted wheels. All right, I'm gonna give it another shot. Do not want to drop this little wheel. This thing is so light. I don't remember what it weighed, but oh, there it goes. Right on there. Look at that. Damn. Perfect. Then we're just gonna line it up. There's my little mark right there. Double check it. Looks good there. Right there. Pretty close. Oh, let me find my nut. I should have had that ready. Where's my nut? Oh, here it goes. These are reverse thread most of the time. At least I'll tighten it up so it snugs up, because else it's not going to be that easy later. Yeah, I do want to do a test with nitrous and diesel later. I've been thinking about that, actually. Man, I gotta pop this through a little bit. It's a little bit tight. That's like super, super close. Got to cool down a little bit, but looks like that's about it. Might blow up the engine. Good, tighten. Yeah, it's just too hot right now. It's got to cool down. And I mean, in all honesty, this is about all that the turbo consists of right here. This is the cartridge, or the center section they call it. And then from here, all we do is put it onto the housing, just like that. Line it up. Just gonna put the screws in. And the shape of the, see the screws are sort of a weird shape. That's so you don't put it in the wrong way. Just like that. Is it? Yeah, it is. Almost done, believe it or not. So after that, we just got our compressor housing. Yeah, that see-through engine was built like a tank. That thing took so much abuse. Can't believe you still remember that video. That was so old. I've been meaning to do a couple more, but man, it's been tough the last couple years with this whole pandemic, and I'm trying to do some concrete work right now at my place, and I can't even get a hold of concrete. For the last 2 weeks, I've been trying to order, and they just don't have stone. It's kind of crazy. So then from there, believe it or not, that's how simple the turbo is. if I didn't have to heat that up, then it would have went a lot faster. I would have been done 10 minutes ago. So that is basically it for the most part. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't know what this clock position is. Oh, it's right there. There it is. So this goes, I feel like that clock position is off. I think it was offset. Yeah, I think it was just like this. Oh, that's right. Okay, I see it now. Got it lined up wrong. That wastegate. So this is the wastegate valve here. It's the internal wastegate. There's a turbine wheel, internal wastegate, and wastegate valve. So in this case, whatever that spring is set, that's what my boost is. I'll find out once I put it on the engine. So the way this comes from factory is this hose just connects directly to the compressor housing right here. So it's the spring against the pressure. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. It's the spring against the boost pressure. So once the boost pressure gets up to that certain poundage, then it pushes against that spring, opens up this wastegate, and starts dumping the exhaust from here right into the exhaust versus through the turbo to spin the turbine. I'm sure you already know that, but for those of you that don't, hello from PLA. Where is PLLA? Is that Pennsylvania? I feel like Louis Rossman here, like doing a repair live. Oh, Poland. Oh, nice. Poland makes some really good, does some really good machine work. Poland and Czechoslovakia. They do really good machine work. So basically, that's the entire turbo assembled. Right there. It's that simple. And it's not much more complicated on a car. On a car, it's basically the same thing. The only difference is this is an oil-cooled turbo versus a liquid-cooled turbo. Liquid-cooled turbos have the oil passage, and then they have antifreeze passages, coolant passages running through. So they look a little bit more complicated, but in reality, they're just the same. But yeah, as you can see, this thing is so tiny. Look at that. That's my thumb next to the actual turbo inlet. And I was able to make a little bit of boost with the engine, the single cylinder engines, but as everybody pointed out, you need a multi-cylinder engine to really get this thing spooling. And I needed more than anything, I just needed more displacement. That engine was just too small, that little Briggs. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. I just wanted to do a quick live stream. I haven't done a live stream in a while, but hopefully you like this. I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen a turbo this small, a production turbo at that. This comes on some of those turbo diesel, I think it comes on turbo diesel, Kohler turbo diesel marine generators. I'm not really sure what this comes on, but yeah, but this is the Kohler diesel turbo. Super tiny. Who builds the turbo? It's built by Tel for Borg Warner, I believe. There's a Borg Warner symbol there, but it's a Kohler OEM turbo. And I don't remember where I got the original part number. I got it off of a Kohler product, and then I just ordered the turbo because I was using those on some other videos on Warped Perception. I was using those really tiny turbos, the ZR21RB or something, but honestly, they're junk. Like, they didn't make enough boost. They were very, very inefficient. So this one's slightly bigger than that one. This one, I think it's measured 26 millimeters versus 21 on the compressor side. But this actually makes way more boost than those little turbos. And I don't have one here to show you, else I would show you. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm going to try to do some more live streams like this that are non-evasive. And yeah, I'm trying to, man, engine fixer guy. Yeah, I'm trying to build a whole bunch of projects. It's just, you know, I've been really behind. I mean, that's been my story for like 3 years, but I think I'm trying to get back on track here. Now I'm having material shortages and other stuff that hold up my projects. It's always a struggle. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to work here. I got more things to do. I just wanted to show everybody this teeny tiny turbo. I mean, look at the size of that. I don't know. I just really like this tiny turbo, which is why I wanted to show it to everybody. And look at how tiny that turbine is. I can't wait to hear this thing spooling on the Tesla. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Adios. See you next time.